Good afternoon, YouTube. This is Mark with Waist Deep Wade Fishing, Southwest Florida, and I just want to say hello to everybody out there. Today we're going to discuss some funny situations that I got myself into while I was fishing. But before we do that, I want to give a shout out to everyone who has subscribed to the show, that liked, that shared, that hit that notification bell, that helped me grow this thing faster than I thought. Much love out to all yous, and I hope that you continue to watch the show. Stay tuned, because there's going to be tons of content coming out here within the next couple of months that I think everybody's going to enjoy. So, getting into our first topic, my fishing stories. And I like to call this little skit we got going here, just for laughs. Alright, these are some fishing fails that have accumulated over the last 10 years. So the first one I'm going to talk about, I'm going to begin this one. This one starts, this was in Sanibel. And a friend of mine from New York flew in, and this is years ago. And I'm just learning the ropes of fishing around here. And I said, all right, well, let's go to Sanibel Pier. So I pick him up from the airport. We get set up. We get down to Sanibel Pier. I really don't know too much about what I'm doing yet. Right at this point, I was flats fishing, but I was still fishing from piers, using a little bit of bait. So I figured, let's make it easy. Let's just go get some shrimp, and we'll go see what we can catch. So we get to the pier, and once we're up there, I see a couple of pelicans, and these pelicans are just sitting on the top of the rail. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna try to go ahead and hand feed one of them. Well, I do it, and I do it successfully. My buddy goes to do it, and I guess he didn't get his hand away quick enough. And he puts his hand out to go feed the pelican, and this pelican latched onto his hand, and for about 3 to 5 seconds would not let go. I mean, he was just, and it was locked onto his hand. And pelicans, you didn't think they would have teeth, but when he yanked his hand out of there, he got cut up pretty good. So that's the first one. The second one, this one was on me. This is a fishing fail that I probably won't forget for the rest of my life. So I'm out on Pine Island, and I decided that I want to go to this kayaking spot where I can wade fish in. But I don't know the area that well. And I had a buddy of mine, you know who you are, his name is Jim. He was out there with me, so I said, well, listen, let's go wade fish this area. I'm not too familiar with it. You go one way, I'll go the other, and we'll see what we can come up with. So we're both out there, and he's about 200 yards from each other, on the right, and I'm walking along, and again, I didn't canvass the area correctly. I didn't use satellite imaging. I just went out there, and I went out there in bare feet. So I'm walking along, all of a sudden, I step down on something super sharp, and it's an oyster bed. And I slip with my right foot. I use my left foot to try to catch myself. Well, that foot also gets cut. So now both feet are cut. I basically fall over. I use my hand to stop me from falling completely in the water, and then my hand scrapes against the oyster bars. So I'm cut, I need stitches, here, I need stitches here, both feet need stitches. So we get back to the car, and I had gotten a tetanus shot not too long before that, so I was not too worried. I said, well, either I go to the hospital and get stitched up. Well, my buddy Jim was like, nah, no problem. What we're gonna go ahead and do is we'll clean this out, and we're gonna go ahead and super glue it. So he ends up super gluing me back together, and to this day it held, and you can't even see the scar there or there, and that was all super glued. So shout out to Jim for that one if you're watching this. That was something I won't forget. So here's another one. Now this one is with my best friend, and we were out near the Caloosahatchee River, and we wanted to get some bait. We wanted it to cast net some, get some fresh bait. So I said, all right, well, let's go to this area. So we find this little cove, along the river. And I'm like, it looks good. So we walk up over there, and then he goes out there. He throws this net, and as he's throwing the net, I saw something in the water. What the hell was that? Just something black, and it kind of like dove. All of a sudden, he starts pulling in this cast net, and he's like, holy shit, what the hell do we got in there? How much bait do we got? I said, nah, man, I don't think that's bait. I think you got something in there. So he's pulling along and pulling along and pulling along, and then all of a sudden, oh my goodness, would you believe it? There's a friggin' otter. There was an otter inside of the cast net. And this thing is fighting and clawing and trying to bite us. How the hell are we going to get this thing out? He's all tangled up. So eventually, what we both did was we got control of the otter, untangled him, almost got bit twice, and then freed the otter. But I'll never forget that. That was one angry little otter, and he was trying to tear us up. Now, this next one, I was with the same person, and, again, I've always been a wade fisherman. And my buddy had just bought this flats boat. This was years ago. And this was, one of the first couple of times that we went out on that boat. So it was early in the morning, and I wasn't really familiar with boat ramps that, as well as I am now. So, I didn't pay attention, and, we're putting in the boat. So he backs in the boat, gets out of the truck, pulls the boat off the off the trailer, puts it on puts it to the dock, ties it on, and a couple of tackle items had fell off the back of his truck, and they landed on that ramp. But that ramp, part of the ramp, is underwater, and I'm wearing flip flops, so I'm like, oh, no problem, man, I'll go get it. So I go strolling over there and not paying attention, and I hit the algae with both feet. I mean, I was literally in the air like this on that boat ramp, and came straight down on my butt, and I'm telling you, both cheeks were bruised for like a week. And I mean, I must have been, from the people on the dock that were waiting there, of course they were all laughing at me, but then ran over and said, hey man, you all right? They said I had to be about 4 foot in the air on that slip. So there's another one for you that goes down in the books. So here's one that was a little scary. I'm out by the east wall, the sandbar, and I was eating lunch. This was, it was during a slack tide. I decided I'm going to go have shore lunch. And in the woods, well, I should say, in the mangrove forest, I had put up just a little area off the ground where, it's kind of like maybe, I don't know, 5 to 8 feet off the ground, where I found some old wood from a boat that I guess, pieces of a boat washed in, and I kind of built like a little platform, like a deer stand. But I just go up there, it's shady in the summertime. I can sit back, relax, lean against, part of the tree, have my lunch, look at the water, and whatnot. So I'm up there in this sandbar. I'm up there in this tree by the sandbar, and all of a friggin' sudden, I'm looking down, and what do I see walk right past me? And it's the only second one I've ever seen in my life in the wild, and it was a Florida panther. Unfortunately, I had my bag hung on a tree, and I could not get a picture of it. But I didn't make a sound. They can climb trees, so I just sat there, and this panther just walked right by me, literally 4 foot below me. So that's another great one. I'll never forget that one. I tell that to everybody. This one was on the sandbar in Burn Store, and this happened to a buddy of mine. So we were out there fishing, and we were going to keep fish that day. Now, me personally, I will not put a stringer around my waist and hang fish in the water. I won't do it. I've heard horror stories about it. I just won't do it. Well, my buddy, I'm not going to name names, decided to go out there. Man, it's fine. Don't worry about it. So, at that time, the trout season was open. We were allowed to take a couple of fish that were within the size limits. So we had a full bag. Basically, I had my limit. He had his limit. We were going to take him home, cook him up. And so we got a boatload of fish on this stringer tied around my buddy's waist, and we are in waist deep water. Well, wouldn't you know it? And it damn near gave me a heart attack. I swear to you, I was just, I couldn't believe what I saw. A dolphin came in and hit this line of fish, and it hit it so hard that it grabbed the fish, pulled my buddy off of his feet, and drug him a good 5 to 10 yards before he was able to get that fish off that stringer. I never seen nothing like it. My buddy literally got pulled off his feet and drugged 5 to 10 yards by a dolphin. A freaking dolphin. So this one also happened to me. I was at Big Carlos Pass, and I was throwing a mirror lure twitch bait. I showed them yesterday in my video. And I was on the beach, and I was casting, and there was people around, and I was throwing for trout. And usually people are smart enough, that when I'm pulling a cast back, not to walk in back of me. Usually they'll stop, or I'll see them and I'll wait for them to go. But this particular time, this guy, I guess he had been drinking a little bit and wasn't paying attention. And he was walking with his girlfriend past me, and I didn't see him. And I go to cast. And when I go to cast, I go, whoop, and it just stops. And I hear, ah! And I turn around. And this guy has got a mirror lure through his shoulder. All 3 of the barbs are in his shoulder and through. So needless to say, sat there for about 20 minutes, doing some doctor work on him, and we ended up having to cut the barbs off and pull this lure out of him. And it was terrible. I mean, it's not so much of a funny story, but just an experience that, again, most people wouldn't believe it. Okay, so I'm gonna leave this one. This is one of the funniest ones ever, and this will be the last one for today. So me and my best friend, he calls me up, and he says, "Hey man, the guy I'm working for me, he just gave me this old rowboat. You want to go out after work and you want to go fishing?" And I'm like, yeah. We went in a pond with it. It wasn't a saltwater boat. It was just a rowboat. So I said, yeah, what the hell? Let's go. So we end up going. I meet him after work. He's got this old rickety rowboat. We put it in the water. It floats. We didn't see no leaks, no nothing. I said, all right, great, this is awesome. All right, perfect. So, get all the gear, tackle boxes. I had a couple of beers, fishing poles, whatever we needed. We loaded up onto the boat. We start rowing. Now, keep in mind, this is a pond. It's just a native pond here in Fort Myers, and there are alligators in it. So just keep that in mind. So we, row around. We catch a couple of fish. So now we were out. We stayed kind of close to the shore. I said, well, let's go to the other side. So we start rowing towards the other side. We get halfway through. All of a sudden, I look in the front of the boat, and there's water coming in. And then my buddy's looking at the back of the boat where I was sitting. He's like, dude, there's water coming in over there too. So I said, oh my God. So we start rowing the boat. Well, as we're starting to row the boat, it's filling up with water. We have to make a quick decision. We're out in the middle of this pond, and there's no way we're gonna make it back. This boat's gonna sink. So it was do or die. So me and him, we didn't have no life jackets, no nothing. Grabbed my fishing pole, grabbed my backpack and my tackle box, and here we go. Into the water I go, and I'm basically just swimming backwards backpedaling, kicking like this, to shore, holding my stuff up, while there's alligators in this water. And my buddy was doing the same when we were right next to each other. But needless to say, we made it out alive. It was an experience. I figured I'd share that one with you guys. Think everyone out there would enjoy it. So I do want to say thank you and God bless. And hope to see you guys on the water soon. Please be careful out there. Don't make the mistakes that I made. Have a wonderful day and a great weekend. And remember, waist deep wade fishing, Southwest Florida. Hit that like button and the subscribe button on the bottom. And hope to see you soon. Get yourself a yellowmouth.